Hello, YouTube. Interesting stuff to talk about today. Haven't talked about it in a while, and that's USPSA. We got a new board put in there. I took a step back and be like, let's let these guys fix it. I'm not super involved right now, and we'll see how it goes. Well, I don't think it's going all that great. Um, Basically, one of the area directors, he's been on the channel before, John Burt, Area 2 director, is suing USPSA, and at issue is access to records. The whole thing, it seems kind of weird. Like I don't really get it, like what's meant to be accomplished here. But I don't know. Let's read through it, and we will see what we've got. So I've got the cover sheet, the summons, and the actual complaint for this lawsuit. I think there's been some other back channel communication. I'm not sure how far this is going to go, but let's read through it. To the defendant, a lawsuit's been started against you in the above entitled court by John W. Burt, plaintiff. Plaintiff's claim is stated in a written complaint, a copy of which is served to you upon the summons. Okay, cool. And it's John Burt, Area 2 Director again, is the plaintiff. The defendant, United States Practical Shooting Association. Now, the interesting thing here is that he's suing in Washington State, Skagit County, however the hell you pronounce that. I thought that USPSA is a Delaware corp, but I don't know. I guess they do business there. I don't know how all that works. This is where the lawyers can explain it. Okay, let's go through the complaint and see what's there. Plaintiff John W. Burt, duly elected director of defendant, the United States Practical Shooting Association. Defendant, the United States Practical Shooting Association, is a business domiciled in the state of Washington with its principal place of business in Skagit County. Since taking office January 1, 2025, plaintiff has requested access to basic corporate records like legal and contract files. Defendant has denied plaintiff access to basic corporate records in violation of statute. Defendant has sought the assistance of fellow board members who refuse to communicate with plaintiff on this topic. That's interesting. I suspect there's more to that. Like probably they don't communicate with him on anything. I think John was upsetting them when he was elected. I do think that happened. All right. Number 5, plaintiff sought guidance from corporate counsel and Delaware counsel, and both of them advised the directors that plaintiff is entitled to virtually unfettered access to said records. Yes, that's my understanding, is he could see all the records. At least one director did respond, stating his personal belief that plaintiff had an improper purpose, but provided no evidence to support such machinations. It's interesting. Okay. In February, okay, this is last month now, plaintiff proposed a motion to have paralegal assemble and organize all of the corporate records. In response, the managing director stated that he would make all folders and files visible to the board, so plaintiff withdrew the motion. Subsequently, managing director was advised by 2 board members that the folders were visible, but the files were not. Okay. Managing director did not respond, but weeks later made a false statement to the membership that all folders and files were visible to directors, knowing said statement was false at the time he made it. All right, like this is like weird stuff here, but I mean, obviously the board needs access to relevant records. It's weird if they're trying to cock block them on records, like that is an issue. I don't know how this, I don't know. Despite plaintiff's best efforts, the plaintiff, by and through its managing director and fellow elected board members, refused to take action to resolve this dispute or grant plaintiff access. Plaintiff has also been denied. Okay, is there any other thing else? Plaintiff is unable to adequately represent the membership or perform the required due diligence of an elected director because he's being denied access to these records. Okay, so I wonder what's being denied. Let's see. It's in here. Okay. The organization was served with statutory records requests. The organization acknowledged the receipt of these requests, objected to some, and then stated it produced all responsive records. Okay, what? It's just, yeah, it doesn't really have anything. I wonder what he's trying to get. Yeah, plaintiff requests that the court appoint a receiver to wind up and liquidate or to manage the affairs of the corporation pursuant to Chapter 7.60, okay, until such time as a hearing can be conducted to uh, to determine whether on or more grounds exist and a decree of dissolution should issue. Okay, so my understanding is that John, the Area 2 director, is suing to dissolve USPSA, which doesn't, like I said, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, I don't, they won't give records, so he wants to dissolve them. Like, it doesn't, yeah, I would say, like, this is where I'd like to talk to John about this and be like, what the hell's going on? All right, I have a letter here from the Area 2 director to the rest of the board. This accompanied the lawsuit summons. Oh, good. Gentlemen, from the start, you have demonstrated a clear animosity towards me and a refusal to communicate. As professionals with an obligation to act in the best interests of the organization, this is just juvenile and unprofessional. I'm sorry your feelings are hurt or you believe some lame conspiracy about me. All of my actions, motions, and initiatives have been directed at two things: seeking collaboration and improving the organization. The same cannot be said of most of you. I would urge you to identify a single fact to the contrary. With that said, enough is enough. It's time to step up and lead instead of continuing to remain silent and complaining that I am mean. If you can't put your petty offenses behind you and work together as a group, maybe you should just step down. The second lawyer made it clear yesterday we aren't following the law. We face massive liability exposure, and our insurance coverage sucks. Outreach and legal opinions have gotten me nowhere. And well, Ben will call this, I think he means Ben Barry. Ben will call this a tantrum. It is actually just me being professional and doing my job. So I extend you an olive branch and a baseball bat, and what happens next is entirely up to each one of you because I carry no grudges and only want to fix the organization. I would suggest a call between those interested in discussing these matters, and Sunday afternoon always seems like a good time. So if there's any interest, send an invite and I'll be there. Okay. Um, So the whole thing's kind of weird, right? Like John's not getting access to records, okay, but suing to dissolve the organization. But then you're looking at this letter and it's like this is just some kind of tactic, like some negotiating tool to get the rest of the board to negotiate on what? I'm not really sure. I'd like to talk to some people about this. So anyway, that's what's going on with the USPSA. Another lawsuit. Oh, and there's a recall motion, an effort to get rid of John, to get him out of his seat in Area 2, which, I mean, he is suing to dissolve the organization. Like, a lot of people don't really want that. So, oh man, I'll keep watching. It does seem really interesting at this point, though, for sure. We'll see what happens.